Alright guys, today I'm going to be doing an installation video for my E-Trailer's Draw-Tite receiver hitch. That's the hitch itself. It has a box or a bag of little parts of bolts and whatnot. Also have two drawbars with a 2-inch ball and a 1 7/8 inch ball to go on the drawbars. They each have their own pin that came with them. I have the plastic cover there to go on the receiver hitch when it's not in use. I have the wiring kit to wire it up for trailers. I also have the installation tools needed. I have a torque wrench, ratchet, 15mm sockets, utility knife, measuring tape, some flat tip screwdrivers, and I just made a start on doing this when I decided to go ahead and do the video. So I already have the two push pins mentioned in the instructions removed. They are in the center of the bumper cover. I will show you in just a moment where they came from. And now I'm going to pause and show you that. Alright, now I'm underneath the car. You can see, this is upside down, but that's the underside of the trunk. And right here is where the first push pin came from. And right over here where the second push pin came from. The way you move these out, that top section pries loose first, and you pull it up, and then you can remove the rest of the push pin from the bumper cover. The next step is to remove the two 15mm nuts that are the bottom nuts holding the bumper cover onto, or pardon me, not the bumper cover, holding the bumper assembly onto the frame rail. And those are 15mm nuts. Pretty simple. Just go ahead and see if I can get the light to stay here. Well, I loosen that. Already took the one off the other side. Really helps to be ambidextrous when you're working on cars or anything else. Especially when you're trying to do camera work and work on something. So that nut's off, and now I have to pause and read the next step of the instructions. Alright, going to be using what they call the reverse fish wire method for attaching the other bolts. They actually insert into the frame rails. So I'm going to put down the camera for a moment. Open the bag here. About the parts, and I'll show you guys. Alright, the installation kit comes with these two metal blocks that go inside the frame rail and provide a mounting point for the carriage bolts. The carriage bolts have this square top on the underside, which locks in to the square hole in the mounting block here, so it holds it secure so you can tighten a nut on it. And the way you insert that into the frame rail by using these fish wires. I'll show you one moment. Okay. Basically just thread the bolt into the wire. And now the bolt is securely attached to the wire, and I can insert it into the hole and then pull on the wire to pull it to where it needs to be to hold tight. Alright, using the fish wire on the bolts as described before, I'm going to go ahead and insert the bolt into the hole, and the bar, and you can see the hole there and the bar is inserted. Just pull it into place and pull the bolt through it. And there, now it's securely set in there. It can't slide out, and the bar's long enough. It's longer than the width of the frame rail, so the bar won't turn inside there, and you can tighten up your nut to it later. And yes, my camera work sucks. Sorry about that. And I'll see if I can do better camera work on this next one, because I've got well, I can already say probably no, because it looks like I'm flailing around. Alright, once again, see if I can get that on there. Got the bolt already threaded through the bar. Alright, the camera just managed to stop itself at the end of the last segment you watched. That was not an intentional stop. I went to pause it and it was already done. I'm going to go ahead and read the next step in the instructions and resume in a moment. Alright, back at it. If you're 40 years old or older when the instructions call for safety glasses, what they mean is your reading glasses. Because you're going to be measuring and marking things that are about 4 inches from your eyeball when you're measuring to cut the hole. That's what this pause was mostly, was me going to get my reading glasses. What I did is measured a center point, which is right here, if I can find one. And I'm going to measure, it calls for a 3.5 inch wide by 5 inch deep cutout for the hitch. And what I'm going to do, I saw somebody else do it with a different hitch, so I'm going to leave a 1/2 inch of plastic along this edge and see if I can get it mounted that way. If not, I'll do it the way they say. Alright, and I'm going to measure and then show you what I've done. Alright, from my measured center line, I've gone ahead and made marks for the cutout. And it's going to be basically 4 inches by 3.5 inches. And if needed, I'll go ahead and go that extra inch back through the face, or through the cover. I'd rather leave that support there if I can. Pausing to cut. Alright, there's the finished hole, ready for the receiver to go through it, I hope. Like I say, if not, I'll trim off this back edge that I left for extra support. Like I say, it's nice to have. If I can't have it, oh well. Now the next step is to slide the actual receiver hitch itself in place and bolt it on. Wish me luck. Alright, I have the hitch installed loosely. It's not tightened up yet. I did have to trim a little more to make it fit good back here, but it's still connected, and you probably could have left that entire thing or a lot more of it, but it fits pretty good. Alright, the first step in tightening is I'm going to tighten the bumper support nuts to 38 foot-pounds. That's what it calls for in the instructions. I have my torque wrench, set to 38 foot-pounds. I'm not going to even bother to try and show you that on here in the dark. See if I can get the light to shine where I need it for filming. It's actually a little harder now with the hitch in place. And of course, knock over the light. Alright, there's the nut that I'm going to be tightening with the torque wrench. And it's a ratcheting torque wrench, which makes it a little easier. Alright, I've got the set of bolts that actually attaches to the bumper attachment tightened to 38 foot-pounds. And of course, when I was moving the camera, I hit the off button. I'm never doing something like this without a camera person and a light person. Good luck to anybody else doing this trying to do a video. The next section is to tighten the new bolts that were included with the kit to 50 foot-pounds. Back in a moment. Alright, the bolts on the bottom of the bumper support are tightened to 38 foot-pounds. The new bolts that they included with the kit are tightened to 50 foot-pounds, and the last step is to install the push pins, if I can get on camera there. Just insert it into the hole that it came out of like that. And push it in. All secured. Of course, the real last step is cleanup, but you're not going to be here for that.